Welcome to a special episode of the All Things MSP podcast, featuring two of the interviews that we recorded at IT Nation Connect last month in Orlando. Our first guest is Adam Anderson, and this recording takes place right after we had just recorded Between Two Sterns, which is Adam's podcast, which you should absolutely check out as well. Adam talks about shifting from bottom-up selling to top-down and using business use cases and financial impact rooted in a trust-building strategy to help MSPs sell more cybersecurity to protect themselves and their clients. Then stay tuned for my interview with Mark Ralls from Auvik and his thoughts on AI as abundant interns. It's definitely an interesting take. Level up your email domain security and deliverability. Reduce business email compromise and reel in that pesky email phishing. Make DMARC a new revenue stream for your MSP. Becoming a managed service provider partner with EasyDMARC is a great opportunity for your business to boost sales and decrease risk. Your customers need DMARC. Your job is to let them know that their email domain might be at risk. Find out more today at atmsp.link/EasyDMARC. That's atmsp.link/EasyDMARC. Operating an MSP sucks. Gozinta is here to make it suck less. With their consulting services, they are your trusted advisors through every step of your MSP's journey, from startup to exit. And their software is crafted with care to ensure that they're solving problems for you and not creating new headaches. Find out more at atmsp.link/Gozinta. That's atmsp.link/Gozinta.
What's up, everybody? We're here at IT Nation, All Things MSP, live with the Captain, Adam from Threat Captain. Adam, what's up, man?
Hey, buddy. Thanks for letting me play.
Yeah. So tell everybody real quick, who are you? What's Threat Captain? And how much did this gorgeous jacket cost?
It's cost as much as you think it would based off of the smell.
Yeah.
So, hey, I'm Adam Anderson, CEO of Threat Captain. Threat Captain is a SaaS platform that helps managed service providers sell more cybersecurity. How do we do that? I'm glad you asked. The way we do that is we overcome the financial objections you always get at the end of the sales process. So you're like, hey, you need to do the thing to keep you safe. They say, wow, that seems expensive, and I don't actually understand the cost of my risk. So then it dies. So what we do is we help MSPs move from bottom-up selling, meaning convince the tech, go through all the objections to try to win the budget, start with winning the budget by showing financial risk and business risk, and winning the buy-in from leadership, and then do all the tech work. So the reason why MSPs don't do it right now is they just don't have a tool that has the pretty pictures and do it for them. So that's what we built.
Right, and techs always want to figure out the technical aspect before they figure out the sales aspect. And you're just trying to make it a lot easier for them to be able to do that.
And it's not to not do the thing, because you still have to do the tech work.
Right.
The only thing I'm saying is, hey, if you get permission from the people with the big sacks of money, and then you go try to do your technology solution, the odds of your vision coming to fruition the way you want it to, much higher.
And plus, everybody wants a seat at the table. This gives them a really good opportunity to, even as a breakthrough product, to get them that seat at the table.
That's absolutely right. So you use it in three core ways. You either use it for prospecting and qualifying leads. You use it for consulting, where you're actually doing business consulting that's powered by real financial insights. Or you use it during QBRs and long-term strategy sessions. So the same product and tools can be used in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. So why Threat Captain as opposed to any other name?
Any other name? So I tried to do Threat Lieutenant. I tried to do Captain. I tried to do That Smells Awful. It turns out all the URLs were taken. It's literally the only this is the last URL.
It was the last URL ever.
No, so we actually, the whole company was, this is my fourth cybersecurity company. And I was like, I'm not building another software company. We're going to do tabletop exercises, and I'm going to work with C-suites, and it was going great. And we had this little tool that we were using that showed the financial impact. And so I thought Threat Captain was me helping you be the captain of your own threat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out no one wanted me to show up anymore. They just wanted the cool software. I'm like, dang it, Brad, I think we just started another SaaS company. So Threat Captain comes from our roots as a tabletop exercise.
Does your website say you're the captain now?
We tried.
Yeah.
We tried. Tom Hanks called and said, give me my humor back.
I can't do his voice. I was going to do it. I can't do it.
Not with that. Wilson. No, even that was bad.
Yeah, it's not that good. So what kind of leverage can MSP have on a client when they're coming in with a product like this?
So this the big thing is that when you first come in as an MSP, let's say it's a net new client or even a client that you only talk to every couple of months, typically you have a low trust environment where the client is thinking, oh, whatever you do, please don't sell me something. I don't understand what you're talking about. I really am not excited to see you. And you are now kind of a burden that comes in, right?
Yeah.
So my whole goal is not to make you close the deal on the first call. My goal is to move from low trust to mid trust.
Okay.
If I can get you in the door when you say, instead of saying, hey, how many endpoints you got? Because that's how I'm going to bill you, right? Or how do you have this nerd thing or this nerd thing? With Threat Captain, you get to walk in and say, so how much risk do you want to carry in your company? Because we probably need to understand what you want to mitigate through cyber, what you want to transfer with cybersecurity, and just, what risk you just are willing to accept. Because you know what, guys, we can't spend too much on cyber. Where would you like to start?
Yeah.
Guess what? They don't put... If that's your opening line, or even what you do in your QBRs or your strategy sessions, they don't put you with the technology people. They put you with the business owners because those are business owner questions. Yeah. And so I'll reiterate, the reason why MSPs don't ask those questions right now is because they're not prepared for the answers and what to do with it. So if I say, what's your risk tolerance? And they say, blah, blah, blah. Well, most of the time, we have tools that help us take it the rest of the way from the conversation as it starts. And that's the whole point of Threat Captain. We saw there's a lot of cyber risk assessment tools. There's a lot of compliance tools. But there were no tools for business impact and financial impact. And so that's what we built.
Yeah, I know. This is totally awesome. Check out Threat Captain here at IT Nation or at threatcaptain.com.
That's the one.
That's the only URL
that's the only URL we can get.
Existed. More from IT Nation coming up soon.
Thanks, Adam, for sitting down with us. Now, let's take a look at what Mark Ralls and Auvik are up to, including using AI for smart alert suppression and to translate complex alerts into plain English to address the current cybersecurity skills gap. We also discussed his idea of AI being used as abundant interns. It's an interesting take. Take a listen. We are here with Mark Ralls from Auvik. We're at IT Nation Connect in Orlando, Florida. And how has the show been for you guys?
It's been fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on. Big fan of the podcast and really excited to be here. It's been a great show so far.
Awesome. Yeah, I've known Auvik for a long time. And of course, John with the acquisition of SaaSleo many years ago. John's a good friend of mine.
Yep.
And love what you guys do and what you guys have done for the space.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been, we were MSP first, kind of MSP centric. And so, back when Auvik was started, it was, really the first, we did two innovations, right? One was being a cloud-based network management platform in a time when there weren't a lot of options there.
Yep.
Then the second thing was being an MSP-first network management tool. So, that kind of multi-client, multi-site tenancy is built right in. It's not something we had to add on, after the fact. And we've got a lot of great MSPs that have been with us for a long time, and it's always fun coming to IT Nation Connect because it feels like a family reunion.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of existing customers who come and talk to us and swing by the booth. It's been awesome.
Yeah, so you guys have had a ConnectWise integration for quite a while, haven't you?
That's right. So we've really grown up, I think, in the ConnectWise ecosystem. That's, it's really kind of where we have been, kind of deep and central from the start. They're our closest partner. For anyone, any ConnectWise customers that use the ASIO RMM, the network management functionality, within that is actually Auvik, Auvik powered. We were part of the launch of that. For anyone who attended the innovation keynote yesterday, we got a great call out. I think the only other vendor mentioned was Microsoft, and when you're being mentioned alongside Microsoft, that's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun for us, and so that kind of growth and partnership with ConnectWise is super important to us.
Yeah, and so how's the booth traffic and the kind of environment been here at this IT Nation? Because I know that it's, events have gotten weird in the last couple of years.
That's right.
And the excitement at this one seems to be back.
It does seem to be back. I will confess this is my second IT Nation. So I attended last year. We actually surpassed our booth traffic midday yesterday, which is really day 2 of the main conference. We surpassed what we did all of last year. So we feel really good about that. A lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and it really feels, if there's another indicator, I would say the lines at Universal were longer last night than they were a year ago. Whether that's good or bad, it depends on how motion sick you get.
Right.
I get pretty motion sick, so the long lines gave me a chance to breathe between rides. Versus last year where we were really kind of cycling through. So yeah. I do think there's a lot of enthusiasm this year.
Awesome. So did you guys announce anything at the show? Is there anything new that you want to tell people about?
We didn't announce anything specifically at the show. I think we continue to deepen that partnership with ConnectWise and the work that we're doing, within the ASIO platform around network management. We've improved some of our inventory sync, especially with the PSA, and so that's really kind of ongoing improvements. Nothing really big there. I would say our biggest announcement most recently is we've launched our SaaS management platform, so SaaSleo. We've launched that with PAX 8.
Okay.
And which is big, and that's really exciting because there's also some fantastic synergy there. What we hear from a lot of MSPs, and particularly MSPs that work through PAX 8, is one of their big challenges is understanding all of the software in place at their new clients, so they can then consolidate that and get that into PAX 8 where they can realize more effective spend. That's the beauty of our SaaS management product, is that it does all that discovery. And we discover multiple ways, both through an agent on the endpoint as well as a browser extension. So really getting a comprehensive view of everything that might be in place at that end client, and within the PAX 8 ecosystem, that obviously then opens up great opportunities to consolidate spend.
And that is really where it's kind of the new inventory that MSPs need to be taking account for, because back in the day, when I was an MSP, it was all about the hardware and the endpoints. Those were the things that needed to be discovered in inventory. Mm-hmm. So that's what our RMM tools did.
Yes.
What we've been lacking is basically an RMM tool for the SaaS applications, because if you really look at it, that's where most of the spend is now. Mm-hmm. For the small to medium-sized business.
Yeah, that's precisely right, and it's we've had great success. We've really, and again, part of the reason that we acquired SaaSleo is not just John Harden's winning personality, although
that helps.
That does help. That does help. Yeah. Former GTIA member of the year, John Harden. But also, it is the fact that it's also he built that product for MSPs first, right? Which is also a rarity in the SaaS management space. And so again, the same kind of multi-tenant, multi-client infrastructure is there, and again the discovery and really I think it was somewhat a product ahead of its time, but I think that time is now, and that's what we're hearing, and also hearing a lot at this show is there's a lot more interest, a lot more questions around SaaS management, because I think our partners are hearing that from their end customers, and also in an age of GenAI. There's also a huge need to understand shadow IT, shadow GenAI, what of my data is getting used in what tools, and our SaaS management product allows you to understand that, and not only understand, do you have an employee who's using a GenAI tool they shouldn't, but even if they're using the tool they should, are they using it with their, under their work email address, or are they using it in their personal email address? Do you have, potential, accidental data exfiltration that's taking place? There's a lot of sensitivity around that. And a big need for our partners to have great answers to their customers, and SaaS management can be part of that answer.
So that's a great question, is what are you guys doing to not only limit that, like you were talking about, but also incorporate AI into the discovery process? Because I imagine there's a lot you could do with AI to kind of look at things and go, oh, they might be using this or that, even though I don't see direct evidence of it.
That's right. So we're in the process, like everyone, I think of really building in AI. But one of the things that's very core to the way we develop our products and develop our software is that it really has to be easy. We want to be the easy button, whether that's network management, whether it's SaaS the easy button for MSPs. The the talent that's available on the market, the folks that our MSPs are hiring, it's really important they can get folks in and at the desk and productive quickly. So our software needs to be easy to use. And that's a lot of what our focus is around AI in terms of how it's apparent to the user. What we've done for years now is also had AI in the back end. So for example, classifying applications within SaaS management, that's something where we were an early adopter of AI in order to do that classification, more dynamically, more quickly,
Right.
so that even as a tool that comes on that, again, whether it's, Cursor or Lovable or, all of these different GenAI tools that are spinning up very quickly, we can classify those and alert on them, very, very fast, and we can do that thanks to the AI functionality we have.
Yeah, and I haven't even thought of that use case where new apps are spinning up all the time.
Right.
And so before a human can classify
Right.
them, now you're using AI to figure out what they are and what they do.
That's right.
So that you can classify them and even probably trigger as to whether or not they might be a threat.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so one of the things that I like to say, and I preach this internally and with others, is that to me AI, the idea that that's artificial intelligence is a bit of a misnomer. I think of it as like abundant interns, right? And so you have a army of virtual interns at your disposal, and you need to think about that both in terms of error checking the output that comes out. You would never trust an intern to develop something you send straight to a client, as an example. But if I want to task an intern and say, hey, I've seen, here's a new software that I've never seen before, go out and, pour through their website and understand what that is, classify it, classify the risk, that is something I can ask an intern to do. And I can ask an intern to do that unlimited times or every day go look for changes. And so that's a lot of the ways in which we're leveraging it is a really kind of valuable component of our kind of workforce, if you will, but also one that just can't be trusted unilaterally. Right. We've got to make sure that we're validating that. A lot of the things we do is we build in, say, confidence scoring, so that if we need to go back and have a human manually check something, we're able to do so because we're not just taking what the AI says is gospel. Because it's not again intelligent. It's an intern.
Right. But you're also basing it on that score.
Yes.
So that you can go look at the ones that it's least confident in first.
That's right.
And work backwards.
That's right. That's right. And we spend a lot of time when we tune, kind of those algorithms and those GPTs, we spend a lot of time focused on that confidence scoring to make sure we always want to err on a lower confidence score than otherwise.
Of course.
Because again, it's really important to us. Again, part of you lose your status as the easy button if you lose trust.
Right.
It does you no good to be an easy button if you're not trustworthy.
Exactly.
And so we're very dialed in on that. And as we think about, again, all of these applications, because you can kind of throw AI at anything, but there are places that there are things you trust an intern with, there are things you don't. And we try to apply that rubric every day.
I think that's great. I love the analogy of abundant interns because it does mean, AI, it does simplify down to that. So
it does.
So what's on the horizon for Auvik?
So we continue to build in, more and better, again, functionality. One of the big areas we're focused on right now is continuing to refine alerting and get smarter and smarter about alerting. We've introduced some new kind of smart alert suppression functionality recently. And again, this is back on the network side, where we've got long-time partners that are seeing something like a 75% reduction in noise, but no reduction in signal as it pertains to alerting. And so, you might see a master switch that goes down, and now we're just sending one PSA ticket on that switch and not 1,000 on that switch and everything below it or everything beyond it. So that's an area that we're, again, trying to get smarter, to get better around being that easy button. Another thing is again, you think back, 10, 20 years ago, the number of kind of newly minted, say, Cisco network admins coming out of, technical schools, et cetera, it was a flood. Right now, it's a trickle. And what you're seeing is a flood of retirements. And so a lot of our partners, what we're hearing from them is, again, they don't necessarily have the same, depth and talent in their employee base that they used to. And so, again, that's an area where we are trying as Auvik to meet them where they are. So we're also introducing, we have a very powerful custom alerting engine that can be intimidating for a new technician. And so we're adding a GenAI capability to describe in plain text, in plain English, what's the alert you're trying to create, and then have the AI functionality then create the alert for you. And so this isn't, I think a lot of what we've seen is replacing like a search interface with a chatbot. And like search interfaces are ubiquitous because they're actually good at what they do.
Right.
I don't necessarily need to have a conversation about the search I'm trying to run, but having something that can automatically explain to me, here's how to create the alert you're trying to create, or automatically create it for me, that is valuable.
Yeah. Well, and especially when it comes to the signal to noise ratio.
Yes.
I remember back in the day, my MSP was actually here in the Orlando area. Mm-hmm. And so lightning is a thing here.
Yes.
It is very much a thing here.
Yes. And hurricanes.
And hurricanes. But the lightning in specific, you would have up and down internet all the time.
Yep.
And so the only way to save your sanity in that signal to noise problem was to desensitize the PSA to the incoming alerts. Mm-hmm. But now what you're doing is you're actually using intelligence to reason out.
That's
and I think that's probably why you're reducing the noise, but the signal is not being reduced because you're not desensitizing. You're actually, almost providing cognitive ability to that.
That's right. And so you could go in, and again, whether you create the alert yourself, by going through the wizard, or whether you ask the AI to do it for you, and say things like, hey, I want to, if this device drops out, I want to wait 5 minutes to see if it comes back before I trigger an alert to the PSA.
Right.
And in that way you can desensitize it. Because we're very cognizant of the fact that not every one of our partners is going to be in our product every day. And in fact, in many cases, one of the big value that we deliver is we are going to meet your team where they are, and that's often in the PSA.
Right.
And so we want everything we send to the PSA to be valid. And again, to your point, like with Lightning, if we need to wait 5 minutes, or we need to wait 15 minutes, or however you want to apply that, being able to create that rule, being able to apply it globally, or be able to rapidly identify, hey, I want to apply this to all my sites in the Orlando area, but perhaps not in less lightning-prone areas. Like, we're making all of that so much easier than it has been in the past.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Mark, thank you so much for joining me today and talking about Auvik and all the great things that you guys are doing.
Yeah, thank you. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you for listening or watching the All Things MSP podcast. If you liked this episode, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, and consider subscribing to catch all our weekly episodes. And from your host extraordinaire, Justin Esgar, and myself, Eric Anthony, your humble producer and All Things MSP founder, thank you very much for spending your time with us. If you are not aware, All Things MSP started as a Facebook group and now supports over 6,000 members. We also have a LinkedIn page for those of you who don't do Facebook, and make sure to check out our YouTube channel for even more content. And a big thank you to our premier sponsors, EasyDmark, Helped, GoZinta, MoveBot, and Nodeware. And thank you to the rest of our sponsors. Without sponsors, we could not do what we do for the MSP community. Please consider checking them out. The All Things MSP podcast is a BizPow LLC production. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not reflect the thoughts and opinions of any employer, vendor, sponsor, or random taxi driver in the Metro DC area. Be sure to join us next week for another exciting episode.